Board of Supervisors meeting, special meeting called Wednesday, April 29th. I'd like to start with pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcements. Be advised that we have 4 assisted listening devices available for anyone who is hard of hearing. Please come forward if you require them. In accordance with Resolution 2-2012, you're informed that it's not Scott Stilson, I believe it's Jesse Tucker, is recording tonight's meeting for posting on YouTube. Is that correct?
Morrison, yeah.
Mark. This meeting is also available being recorded electronically on Microsoft Teams.
Actually, not today.
Not tonight. According to Resolution 20-2023, rules of conduct for public meetings and public comment periods shall be observed and are listed at the bottom of the agenda. Item 5, you are hereby advised that the Board of Supervisors held a brief executive session on April 8th, 2026 from 9:15 to 9:20 to discuss a litigation matter. Item 6, you are hereby advised that the Board of Supervisors met in executive sessions from 7 to 9:20 p.m. on Tuesday, April 21st in order to discuss personnel matters. I'll take public comment.
And just as a point of clarity, because this is a special meeting of the board called for the limited purpose of the agenda items, the board would request that any general public comments be deferred to their regular meeting in May. That public comment for this evening be limited to those items that are on the agenda for action this evening. Thank you.
Anybody on this side?
Warren, I just want to say to you that I've seen managers come and go. You're one that, and you are one. I've seen managers come and go, and you were one who is truly leaving Honey Brook in a better place than when you arrived. Thank you for your dedication and leadership. Some of the treatment you received from a small number of residents was unacceptable. No one serving the community should be subjected to that kind of behavior. And it does not reflect the character of this township as a whole. The vast majority of Honey Brook Township residents are respectful, appreciative, and recognize the positive impact you've made. And I hope those are the memories you take with you as you move forward and leave the negative behind. I wish you and your family all the best. Thank you.
And just a point of clarity, Deb Elmer, for the record, these comments. Thanks, Deb.
Erinne Hamill, White School Road. Just wondering if you would be willing to open up another public comment at the end after your discussions in case people have questions about what you're going to talk about. Would you consider that or no?
Yeah.
Well, we do need to go into executive session immediately afterwards, and it's kind of time sensitive.
I would say if we can get through the first one pretty quick and everything goes through, then yeah, otherwise we have another meeting to get to, so.
Okay,
We'll consider it.
thanks.
Walsh?
Good evening. I'm Matt Welch from Honey Brook EMS. Warren, I just want to thank you for all of your support, your guidance, your assistance with grants throughout your tenure here. You've been quite a resource, and we as the EMS community greatly appreciate your support and all of the work that you've done. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
And just for everyone's understanding, I will be here at the next board meeting, so again, our hope is that we can get to the business quickly, and again, I will be here on May 13th.
Any thoughts on this side? This side? John?
Good evening, John McHugh, 40 Hillbrook Drive. Two things I'd like the board to consider. One of them would be to hire an assistant township manager for a smooth transition in the future if the new township manager is not available. And the second thing is to have the salary for the township manager not to be market-based, market value, because we're in one of the wealthiest counties in Pennsylvania, so we can't compete with the mainline communities in the salary. So I hope that you consider that when we have a high salary over here, it impacts the other municipalities in the region, and they have a difficult time in competing with salaries and retaining their staff when the other municipalities can offer more money. So I hope those two items would be considered. And Warren, I thought you'd be around a little longer, so good luck to you.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Susan Lacy, Evergreen Ridge. I noticed on the agenda that there was plans to contract with the Lafayette Collage Meyner Center for recruitment and hiring assistants. I'd never heard of the organization, so I was looking on their website. They list a number of organizations, municipalities that they have worked with for hiring township managers, police chiefs, various other positions. But curiously, there was nothing mentioned there after 2023. Nothing. That seems odd. So either they haven't done anything recently or they're not updating their website. And if they can't update their website, that questions in my mind their capability for handling the job. So I don't know how this organization was selected, but I don't think they're doing a good job of promoting themselves. And maybe we ought to choose someone else that actually knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Marion Perez, 827 Chestnut Tree Road. All right, so I looked into it too, and at first I was like, have we used recruiting before? I hate this because we can't ask questions. Does that help? Oh, God, that does. All right, I hate that we can't ask questions, so I don't know how to do this in statement form, but at first I was like, recruiting, $13,000, like, what's that all about? Like, don't we just, go to the newspaper, and I don't know how Warren was hired, if that was recruiting or not, or how it's been done before. But then once I looked at it and I read through it, it did seem like a good idea. They seem very thorough. I did also see that there's nothing after 2023. And I also do see that there's not many other recruitment centers out there, I guess, that you can work with. So that was just one of the questions, like, do we normally go through a recruitment center? And are we going to be open to applicants outside of the recruitment center? Because I would prefer someone who lived in the township become a township manager, because then I feel like they have a vested interest in the township. And I guess that's about it for now. And I did hear that, Kristy's secretaries have been put in the interim, so that's fine with me too. So, but we can't ask questions, can we? And no one's going to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm going to make it brief and short. I'm Doug Eversmeyer. I reside at 135 Mount Pleasant Road. I've been here 40-some years in the township. Over the years, I've witnessed a bunch of different items that I've addressed the township with, and hopefully we're going to work through them. I've dropped off complaints and stuff, and with the hiring of a new township manager, and I've asked for transparency of the now Warren's timeline and other managers' salaries and stuff in the past, when I put the right to know in, I'm being told there's no paperwork. I have from 2021 and that's it. You guys have no contract. So when we get a new township manager, if this is the case and this is the fact that we don't have any contract, I think we should have a contract, and it should be spelled out what benefits, what he's getting, what he's not getting, what his salary is. And in the past, the township vehicle remained at the township building. The Chevy remained here for use when the township manager or Kristy had, or whoever had to go do an errand. That truck remained on the site. It was never, ever, ever taken home, which is evident by the time when the truck or the car was sold to Chevy, had 30,000 miles over 15 years, which equates to roughly 2,000 miles per year. And I've been asking for a long time what the mileage is on the truck that Warren's been driving and taking home each night. And I've asked if that's been in the contract. So I'm just concerned as a taxpayer. We say we're trying to save money and stuff. And in the last month, I've been out to different municipalities about township manager salary, and I'm formulating a spreadsheet and a flow sheet of what each individual township is providing their township managers. Upper Euclid, Cowan Township, West Bradford, East Bradford. I've been to them all, and I'm waiting for all my information to come back. And I'd like to present it to the board members, because there was a question about the salary as what it was, plus bonuses, and then I'm told there aren't any bonuses, but in the minutes at the Township Supervisors meeting, you stated there were bonuses, but then when I put the right to know in, there aren't any bonuses. And there's no information and no formula or set salary pages that are furnished to me. So with all this, I want the board to be more accountable, more responsible to the residents. And when residents file something, is that being forwarded to Technicon when there's a concern or a complaint? Or is it just being dropped into a bin someplace? Because I've asked for those, and I get no response on that. So with that being said, I'm hoping we do find an adequate manager, and I hope we look at the salary guidelines, because when I brought that up in the past, his salary is almost that of a senator in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I just don't understand why. So we're in the tight time frames and budgets, and the amenities with a $50,000 truck and God knows how many miles has been put on it, and the taxpayers are paying the fuel for it. That all factors into our budget for the township. So
Thank you.
I just hope we can look at it and take a real good look. Thank you.
Any other comments on this item? Okay, thank you. New business, item 1, accept, not accept the resignation of Township Manager Warren Obenski with last working day of May 15, 2026.
I make a motion to accept.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion accepted. Item 2, authorize, not authorize Warren Obenski to execute a contract with Lafayette College Meyner Center based on its April 23rd, 2026 proposal for provision of recruitment services for the township manager, subject to solicitor review and approval. And before we move on with a motion, I would ask Jen if you can come up and give us a little overview and maybe make a comment on the 2023 subject.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Jennifer Smethers. I am the Director of Municipal Services for the Meyner Center. I joined the Meyner Center in March of last year, so I'm relatively new to the organization. The reason that they brought me on is because of the fact that we've been so overwhelmed with requests for doing municipal recruitments and organizational assessments, and other reports and studies, like salary review studies, that the individual who was doing all of that work was overwhelmed. So they brought me on to help her out, which is probably why some of the website information is not up to date and accurate, because she was actually doing work in the local communities, which we felt took precedence to the website. Since I have started at the Meyner Center, I am charged with doing the website. I've made a couple little tweaks to it, but I am still working on it at this point. But I will make a note to make sure that that gets taken care of first. So a little bit of information about the Meyner Center. The Meyner Center was established in 1994 by Robert B. and Helen S. Meyner. Robert B. was the governor of New Jersey, and Helen, his wife, was a U.S. representative. They basically put an endowment to Lafayette College, which is where Governor Meyner had attended his post-education, and he put the money aside because he knew that local government needed help. There are over 2,500 local municipalities in the state of Pennsylvania. Some have maybe 7 residents. I believe that one's out in the western end of the state, and others are huge, like Philadelphia. So municipalities, especially the smaller ones, need help, which is why the Meyners saw the vision of wanting to have an organization that would actually be there to help make local government more effective and efficient. So our services, basically what we have been doing is we've been doing the executive recruitments. We've also been doing organizational assessments where we'll go out to an organization that's not actually functioning the way it should be, where there's maybe some issues operation-wise, financial assessments, and basically give our opinion. The Meyner Center right now is made up of our director, which is Professor John Kincaid. He is a professor of government and law at Lafayette College. Nicole Beckett, who is the associate director of public service, who was the individual who had been doing all of the recruitments all by herself until they hired me last year. And then we have an administrative assistant in our office as well. As far as experience for Nicole and myself, we're both practitioners. We don't consider ourselves consultants because we are both former managers. Nicole was a former manager for almost 20 years. I've also been in municipal management. I was the manager for Williams Township for about 6.5 years. I was the Township Manager and Treasurer in Lower Mount Bethel Township for about a little over 7 years. I also worked at the City of Allentown and the Allentown Redevelopment Authority, and I also have a background in community development, working for low to moderate income nonprofits, helping low-income families find affordable housing. So the services that we propose to provide to the township are basically our normal recruitment schedule. So we'll meet with you. We'll talk about what it is you're looking for in your next manager. We will also talk about the salary. That will be set by the Board of Supervisors, obviously. We'll have a discussion regarding that. And then from there, we'll talk about the ad that we're going to put in, the sources where we're going to put the ad, and then we will start the recruitment process. It'll typically take anywhere from like 3 to 4 months to get somebody in Warren's shoes. There is a manager shortage, so you are aware and that the residents are aware. Management for municipality is much different than managing a company. It takes a specific person and a specific backbone to do the job. Anybody can tell you that as the elected officials and as appointed officials. It's a type of job where you really need to know what you're doing and be able to handle like public comments and stuff like that. Basically, we go through 2 rounds of interviews. The first round of interview is only a 40-minute interview, and that's basically where you're going to meet with the candidate, see what their skill set is, and make sure that they're qualified to do the job. The second interview is more defined, and that's where you're really going to get to know the individual to make sure that they're a good fit for the township. We want to make sure that we're putting somebody in here who's a good fit for the Board of Supervisors, for the staff, the existing staff, and their opinions matter a lot, as well as the residents, because we want to make sure that the residents are happy as well. And then from there, if you decide, you can do a separate background check with Inter-County Solutions, which is something that we highly recommend. They will come out and they will do a thorough background investigation on your select candidate. There's a separate cost for that, which is also listed in the proposal. And they will do a full criminal, civil background check, driver's record. They check about 10 references, where they'll have phone calls with references, former employers, their current employer. They'll run the whole gamut to ensure that there's no skeletons in the closet for the person that you're hiring. It's the gist of it.
How many other municipalities are you currently working with to place?
I am currently wrapping up Bethlehem Township, Kutztown Borough, Upper Pottsgrove, and we also are working right now with Cheltenham Township as well. I have proposals out to additional municipalities, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So I'm waiting to hear back from Wyomissing, Percy, and I have conversations with about 3 other ones that are coming up within the next week to see if they're interested in our services.
And do you guys feel like you have the bandwidth and the personnel to?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Between the two of us, yes, we do. And we're also, those are the ones that we're doing recruitments with. I'm also working right now with Lower Saucon Township. We're doing an organizational, or not, I'm sorry, not an organizational assessment, a financial assessment there, because their landfill is a hot topic for the residents, and they're looking to not permit the expansion of the landfill. So we're looking at the feasibility of what's going to happen if the landfill does shut down, and how is that going to impact the township's budget, with about $3.2 million being taken out of the budget once the landfill goes away. So we're looking at wrapping up that report, and then I'm also going to be helping them with their manager recruitment, and then once that's done, we're going to be doing an organizational assessment at the end. I'm also working with Stockertown Borough right now. I'm doing an organizational assessment there to help them determine whether or not their borough should actually switch over to the borough manager council form of government. Right now, they do not have a borough manager. They only have a township secretary treasurer, and they're trying to determine whether or not they should put a proposal out to get a manager in there to do the manager work, instead of having the council do everything that a manager's been doing. So we're doing that as well. Any other questions?
Just to follow up on one of the resident questions, essentially through your recruitment process, is it fair to say that you will solicit people to apply such that, it's not just the people you reach out to, there will be an open process that anyone interested could apply for the job?
Yes, absolutely. We will do, not only we will market to our database. Our database that we have is basically about it's the 10 surrounding counties of Lehigh and Northampton County. So we have contacts with all of those municipalities, managers, and their administrative staff and their financial staff. So a notice will go out to all of those individuals, as well as we'll put it on our LinkedIn page. So I know with my LinkedIn page, I have probably about a little over 1,600 contacts. So it'll go out to all my contacts on LinkedIn. It'll also go on Nicole's contacts for her LinkedIn site. And then if the township so wishes, we can put an ad in the PSAT's job board and the Municipal Junction Job Junction. I think it's called PML Job Junction. Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
So do I hear a motion, item 2, I hear a motion to authorize or not authorize the execution of the contract.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved to authorize Mr. Obenski.
Thank you.
Item 3, not appoint Kristy Deisher-Eddy as interim Township Manager effective May 4th, 2026, conditioned on successful bonding to serve until permanent appointment of new Township Manager. And before we take that motion, Beth, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just a point of clarification, this would be the appointment motion. There will be a formal offer engagement letter that is provided from the board that sets forth the full terms of that engagement, just from a good record-keeping perspective. For the public's standpoint, the intention, as I understand it from the board that accompanies that motion, is that during the time of serving as interim manager, that would be a salary rate because it is an exempt position given its level of authority and decision-making, and that would be at a $95,000 salary rate just for the duration of serving the interim role. Other typical benefits, which would include use of the township vehicle and cell phone reimbursement and all of the normal township benefits that the individual is already eligible to receive.
Would it be appropriate for Kristy to tell us a little bit about her experience here in the township for residents who maybe don't know how long she's been serving here?
Sure. I've been here since 2008. I started part-time as a clerk to help fill in during a maternity leave. There was plenty of work to do after the individual came back from maternity leave, so I continued to be part-time. And then there was a loss of a staff member, and there was a need for full-time work, so I came on at 30 hours for a couple of years, and then I was 32 hours, and then as of 2020, I've been 40 hours. So I've been here since 2008, but full-time since 2012.
Do I hear a motion to appoint or not appoint?
I'll make a motion to appoint.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint is granted. Thank you. Based on time, I apologize. I'm not going to do a second round of comments. Yeah, if anyone wants to look, as we're transitioning back to another meeting, that's fine. That's all that we have this time. So, meeting adjourned.
Actually, are we going, do you want to stay in executive session and then come back and close the meeting at the end?
I think we might be over there for some time.
There's anyone else next meeting in executive session?
That's fine.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.